Today, the president declared North Korea the biggest foreign threat facing the United States.
Well, nobody's safe. I mean, who's safe? The guy's got nuclear weapons. I'd like to say they're very safe. These are great, brave soldiers. These are great troops. And they know this situation. We have 28,000 troops on the line, and they're right there. And so nobody's safe. We're probably not safe over here. If he gets the long-range missiles, we're not safe either.
The president refused to specify how he would handle North Korea.
Yeah, I don't like drawing red lines, but I have to act.
What would it take? Would it take a missile launch into South Korea, conventional?
You know, look, I've been
pretty
well known for saying, like, nothing when it comes to the military.
Joining us now, Gordon Chang, columnist for the Daily Beast and the author of Nuclear Showdown, North Korea Takes on the World. Also with us, Jim Walsh, a senior research associate at the Massachusetts Institute for Technology Security Studies program and one of the handful of Americans who has traveled to North Korea for talks with officials about nuclear issues. And Jim Walsh, I want to go to the technical capacity. First of all, the president there saying we're probably not safe here. What could he mean by that? And because we're seeing these missile tests just, not even get close to leaving North Korean airspace very much.
Yeah, he's talking about whether North Korea has an intercontinental ballistic missile, an ICBM, something that they could launch from North Korea that would reach the United States. Now, my own view is that overestimates the threat and underestimates it at the same time, which sounds crazy, but it overestimates it because I think there are quite some time from this. We've had predictions they would have this capability. Those prediction dates have come and gone. But we don't have to wait for this to be a real deal. And the president rightly points out, we have thousands of troops in South Korea, tens of thousands more in Japan. I think I think North Korea could probably get a nuclear weapon to both those places. So if they incinerated 28,000 American troops in South Korea, I think that's a big deal. So it is a threat, and we don't have to obsess about the ICBM to take this seriously. It's serious right now.
Let's listen to what the president said in this interview with Bloomberg News today. He said, it would be appropriate for me to meet with him. I would be honored to do it if it's under the right circumstances. But I would do that. And Gordon, he doesn't say what the right circumstances are.
No, and clearly at this point he wouldn't be able to do that. I think the right circumstances are once he gets Kim Jong-un in a position where Kim feels he has no choice but to give up his weapons. In other words, there has to be sanctions first, and then Kim may be more amenable. But the point right here is this saying that he'd be honored to meet Kim. This really is wrong.
What does that communicate to both the South Koreans and the North Koreans?
Well, the North Koreans, it legitimizes their ruler. To the South Koreans is a real problem because it helps one of the candidates in the May 9th election. That candidate is very anti-American, very anti-U.S. alliance. And so Trump should not be saying things to help people who don't like us. And also in that Thursday Reuters interview, he said two things that helped the Moon Jae-in, this anti-U.S. candidate. He said, for instance, that the South Koreans should pay $1 billion for the anti-missile system. And he also threatened to terminate the U.S.-South Korea free trade agreement. Those were things which undermined U.S. interests at this very consequential time.
And Jim Walsh, he then had to reverse himself on both of those things.
Yes, he does. But let me push back a little on my good friend Gordon Chang. I agree with him, his critique of the things he said about South Korea. I mean, that's just the wrong thing to say about an ally. And then, of course, earlier said, I don't stand by any of my statements. Again, adversaries and allies are listening. That's not a good message. But I disagree with Gordon. He talks about sanctions. We've had sanctions. Lots and lots and lots of sanctions. And what do we have? A North Korea that builds more missiles and tests more nuclear weapons. If we wait till the very end to have a negotiation, that will never happen. I think there's a possibility here that we could have some talks and that would lead to a freeze. And believe me, I would take a freeze over them building their capability and being able to reach the United States. And yes, it was sort of awkward, to say the least, to say all those nice things about Kim Jong-un. But, as a guy who's been to North Korea, been to Iran, had meetings with awful people, you don't lead into the meeting by saying, you're a murderous regime, I hate you. If we're trying to prevent a nuclear war, then we're going to have to say some things that make conversation possible. I say, hold your friends close, your enemies closer. We should be talking to them. This is a dangerous situation. We could get a war that no one wants because of miscalculation. And so my complaint with Trump is not that. My complaint is the messages and signals are all over the place. Every day it's a different message.
Well, Jim, I think I could agree with a lot of what you have to say, and then I think we get into exactly what is the language of dealing with North Korea. And do you say it's an honor, Gordon, to meet with him? Do you call him a smart cookie? Do you need any of that language here?
No, you don't. I mean, even if we thought that having sitting down with the North Koreans now is a good thing, and that's arguable. We've tried freezes before, and we've done all that, and they haven't worked. But the point is, you don't need to say these things about what really is the worst despot in the world. We can have good diplomacy with the North Koreans without actually legitimizing a regime that doesn't like us.
Gordon Chang and Jim Walsh, thank you both for joining us tonight. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.